Okay, Eric. In our last segment, we were focusing, or you were focusing, I should say, mostly on the handheld force gauge, right?
That's correct, the DFC.
The DFC, right? And now we've got a test stand in front of us. What I see here is a motorized test stand. Looks like a load cell, and then some smarts, a little tablet over here off to the side, right?
Correct. This is our L1 system.
Okay.
So you can tell it by the load cell and the tablet being the DRO.
Okay.
So very, very easy setup system. Again, it's one of 3 different configurations that you can do with the FMM. Again, stand only, or you can do it with the DFC, controlling the stand, or the L1 system that we have here.
All right. Looks like a very simple operator panel.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Like I say 2 buttons and a knob.
Yeah, pretty much.
And an emergency switch.
Up, down, and set your speed.
Okay.
So you can set your speed literally by dialing in what you want, and that's in inches a minute. If you want millimeters a minute, press and hold, and that comes up. Now, when you're in the L1 configuration or the DFC, no matter what speed you have dialed in here, either the gauge will override it, because the gauge is controlling the stand, or the software will tell it to do.
So this is strictly if you're running in manual mode. You don't have anything else hooked up to it. You're just going to manually move the stage yourself. And I guess also in manual mode, you've got a scale off here, a distance scale off to the side.
Yeah, that's pretty much how you measure how far you went with the little scale on here.
Okay.
In the other 2 modes, we've got the encoder on the inside, so the gauge reads the feedback from the encoder, or the L1 software does as well. So that's how it judges speed and distance and everything.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this plate down here.
Well, everyone likes options to mount stuff. So we have 4 different hole mounting options down here, from M4, M6, M10, or an M12. And if you notice, we have the little wall-out holes here to allow you to move it around so that you can keep everything in perfect alignment. On an S-beam load cell or the force gauge, you want to make sure that your load's going straight through and doesn't have offset loading.
Otherwise, you'd get inaccurate readings?
It could damage your load cell.
Or that. Okay.
Yeah, that's the bad part, so you don't want to do that.
Right, okay.
So.
And I should say that the software interface is pretty much as simple as the panel interface.
Yeah, well, last time we were here, we talked about the L2 software. Well, this is a simplified version of L2, being L1. So when you look at the software, it's pretty simple. You have your load and your distance on the DRO.
Okay.
And under where it says test, you have your test that you wrote before. Okay. So you can select from any one of those. Or we can create a new test.
Okay.
So let's do that.
Okay.
So let's hit the icon with the star at the bottom.
Okay. That one there.
And if you notice, you have 4 different test choices.
Yep.
Load test, distance test, brake test, and cycle test. Let's do a distance test real quick.
Okay. All right.
Now, if you notice when it comes up, you get 2 choices, either tension or compression. Obviously, we're set up for the tension aspect of this. So
got a rubber band on there.
Yeah, only the finest. And let's go ahead and do a target distance, say 4 inches.
All right.
And let's do a speed of 20 inches a minute.
20 inches a minute. Okay, I'm just following your lead here. 20 inches, oops, 20. There we go. Okay.
All right. So next we want to do is we want to go to pre-test. That's up there, yeah, click that.
All right. Okay.
Any standard instrument, you want to make sure it's zeroed out. So let's 0 load, 0 distance.
Okay.
And if you go to where it says setting, all the way at the top.
Oh, right.
We want to go where it says set home. Then all we're doing here is just saying, hey, remember where you're at. Set home, yes.
Okay.
Now if you go to the bottom icon and click that.
The little arrow?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And now you want to go ahead and return home.
Return home?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Now hit the green check mark twice.
Okay, check 1, do again, okay.
We want to save it, obviously.
Save it.
I'll save it whatever number it comes up. Let's just hit done.
But I could type anything I wanted in there.
You can go back and rename it any time.
Okay.
So
all right, that's
when it comes up, let's just hit start test.
All right, we'll do it. That easy. That's pretty straightforward. Even I can do it. All right.
So as you can see on the screen here, the test is running. You're getting your data as it's coming up.
Right. You can see it's stretching out that rubber band there.
Yeah. So it's going to return because that's what you told it to do. So it's returning home. And if you don't mind, when it gets done, go ahead and hit start test one more time for me, okay?
Okay. Start test over here. All right. Okay, now it's perfect.
And
Right.
when it comes back to home, this time here, if you don't mind, touch the run number 1
Okay.
for me.
Now I'm assuming also as it's taking data, you could set limits and
Correct.
it could tell you whether it was within limits or outside of limits. Okay.
Correct, yes.
So press the 1 button.
Uh-huh. So now you'll notice there's the 2 runs
Oh,
that we
okay.
just did overlaid.
Okay.
And to your point about limits, the data that's on the side would go red. The numbers would go red if it fell out of whatever limits that you set.
And with each run, I could keep overlaying multiple
many
runs.
times as you want.
And you could do stuff like average the runs and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Various operations on it. Okay.
Very, very simple.
Okay. So that's all there is to it. That's all there is to programming it. Okay.
That is it.
Okay.
So
And you
very
would just
easy to use.
you would just change your load cell based on
The different load capacities that you're trying to run.
Okay.
And you want to make sure you stay within not
Okay.
a real big load cell.
and the calibration information for load cell.
It's stored in the chip in the back.
Okay. So,
So-
when the load cell hooks up to the
Plug and play.
device, it
Plug and play.
knows everything about it. Okay.
Yep, you're
All
ready
right.
to go.
Okay. That seems pretty straightforward. Run through us again the different sizes of the frames.
Well, we have 3 different standard sizes, the 110, the 330, and the 550, and we have extended column or travel, which is the 110X, 330X, and the 550X.
Okay. Terrific. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.